My name's Elisa. I go to the University of Kent and I'm a media student. I struggle with anxiety and it was self-diagnosed at first, but then I knew it was anxiety because all of the symptoms were reoccurring, especially in first year. So then I went to the doctors and they diagnosed me with anxiety. I thought it was just like nervousness, but then I spoke to the doctor and she said those were all of the symptoms of anxiety. Feeling unable to like do a certain thing, like get out of bed, or like feeling nervous about little things, little events. And then along comes with that, even if it's a bad day, it's like panic attacks. But yeah, that's what I've had before. Yes, because there's a stigma of like vulnerability attached to it, especially at this age. And especially in an environment where university is so big, you feel as if like your problems aren't that big. Like you feel really small here at uni, but I definitely think it's really taboo and people need to speak more about it. I think that men have it different to women purely because there's a stigma attached with women being hyper emotional. So when a man comes in and says that he's having like mental health problems or issues, then it's almost like we don't take them serious enough because in society men are the ones that don't have emotion. So I think as a young man at university it's extremely difficult, especially with like your peers around you. So yeah, they're definitely different. Coming to somewhere that you've never been before, the environment's different, mixing around with people that you've probably never interacted with, obviously money as well, being away from your parents and the stress of deadlines all comes together and I think makes you get anxiety at university. I think for me it was dealing with not being at home and being thrown in an environment which I've never dealt with before, but it caught up to me much later. I think my brain just had to process it all really quickly in the beginning, and then I got off to a really weird start, and then the anxiety came more after Christmas, I think, when I was like dealing with deadlines and everything started to settle in. I feel like it affected my progress quite a bit in first year. Even though I got good grades in the end, I think especially in one of the modules, because I told myself that I didn't like it, I didn't put a lot of effort in it because I didn't want to go to class. I felt like I couldn't go to class, so I think it inhibited my progress a bit, especially with meeting people in the class. I don't think I interacted with anyone in media as much as I did this year compared to last year. I spoke to Caitlin and James once this year about my presentation because I felt really anxious the day before and they were really understanding. So I think if you're at university and you're struggling, then just speak to your academic advisors because they're there to help you, and go to counselling and like all of the other facilities on campus because they're free anyway. It triggered a anxiety surrounding death and like not being certain how long I was going to see my parents for or how long my family was going to be in my life, because I was just scared of dying myself, but I was mainly scared of the idea of loss, and that came out of nowhere. But that was definitely triggered after Easter last year, and it just became like uncontrollable. And I think that was mainly because the stresses of university, they piled up from the beginning, so it triggered something that I'd never thought about before, and then it made me obsessive.